February 23rd, 9:34 a.m. Defendant lobby number 2. How did the investigation go yesterday, Mr. Wright? Frankly, there are still a lot of gray areas. Sat up on the stand, total. Or rather, the whole thing is one big gray area. Don't worry about me, no matter what the outcome. I'm ready to accept my fate. I believe in you, sis. Mr. Wright, let me offer you a word of advice. Yes? A defense attorney should never believe their client. The defendant is called to trial because they are suspected of wrongdoing. Never forget that. Miss Sky, you remind me a lot of Mia. But there's one decisive difference between you and her. And that is, you're not a defense attorney, so shut the fuck up, you dumbass. I believe it's almost time for the trial. Good luck, Mr. Wright. You're gonna tell me how to be a defense attorney when you're not even a defense attorney. Shut your ass up. My first trial without a fate helping me. No one's gonna bail me out this time. I'll be alone in there. I have to discover the truth all by myself. Let's do it, Mr. Wright. I'll be with you the whole way. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Sky. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution has been ready for a while, Your Honor. Edgeworth. It's been 2 months, but I haven't been in a courtroom since his trial. I hope that personal feelings will not be part of the proceedings today, Mr. Wright. I will choose the path I think is right, regardless of what those around me might say. The judgment to be made here is in our hands, not those of anyone else. Very well, Mr. Edgeworth. Your opening statement, please. Chief Prosecutor Lana Sky has committed an unpardonable crime. Not only this, but she was rash enough to commit it in the prosecutor's office lot. Wow, he's much more forceful in person. I suddenly feel like confessing to everything. However, she will now pay for her rashness with her life. There was a witness to her crime. A professional witness. Well then, call your first witness, Mr. Edgeworth. The prosecution calls as witness Miss Angel Starr to the stand. The cough-up queen. Should be coughing up dick. Like the whore she is. Look at her. Well, not look at her. She fine as fuck. But she got 2 boyfriends. She a whore. Haven't I seen you somewhere? You ordered the caviar lunch, right? Oh, caviar! I've never eaten caviar before. This judge is really wolfing it down. And for you, I have a fiesta bowl. Thanks. Will the witness state her name and profession? And you, sir. Did you order the fingerprint lunchbox? It is too early for lunch. Your name and profession, please. Well, Your Honor, how does it taste? So this is why everyone raves about caviar. It's so tasty it hurts. I always thought caviar would taste like pickled tapioca. The fuck does pickled tapioca taste like? Name, profession, now. Me. The name is Angel Starr. Don't go forgetting it. I find myself running Lunchland these days. Is that what you wanted me to say, Mr. Edgeworth? Very well, witness. Please ascribe the incident to us. The prosecution will wait. I'm not finished eating. Hurry the fuck up! Very well, Mr. Edgeworth. As you know, we usually call on the police to provide a description of the crime. Your Honor, as Mr. Edgeworth has said in the court, I am a professional. What exactly does that mean? Until 2 years ago, Miss Angel Starr was a special investigator for the police. She was a first-rate homicide detective. What? Miss Starr was a detective? Aha! I know who you are. Cough up. Cough up queen, Angel Starr, Your Honor. Long time no see. Very well, you may continue with the description, Miss Starr. Just who is this lady? If I might have the court's attention over here. The parking lot in the prosecutor's office is divided into 2 blocks. A block is for the prosecutor's office personnel. B block is for visitors and clients. A chain divider separates the two blocks. I suppose that's what's to keep visitors from taking up prosecutor spaces, yes? The crime took place by a car in the back of A block in the car's trunk. The killer stabbed the victim with his knife and went to drive the body out. Unfortunately for her, there was a witness, and an arrest was made on the spot. And who was this valiant witness? Why, it was me, Your Honor. Witness, did you see the very moment of the crime? Of course, Your Honor. Immediately after I apprehended the chief prosecutor. It seems rather cut and dry, doesn't it? Well, Mr. Wright? I can't agree on principle, Your Honor. It seems some poor losers are unwilling to accept the truth, Your Honor. Shall I proceed to crush what little hope they have remaining? If you can, then give them your worst, Miss Starr. Are you talking about me? I'm finna badger this bitch. Oh. I thought she already gave her testimony. I was about to say, hold on! Hold it! Somehow, I always knew a day like this would come. I was on my way to deliver a lunchbox to my boyfriend when I sensed something. Perhaps it was my finally home detective's intuition at work. Through the wire fence, I saw the chief prosecutor standing next to a garish car. The chief prosecutor was holding a knife in her right hand. Then she thrust the pointy tip of the knife into Detective Goodman's chest. Bringing a lunchbox to your boyfriend, how touching. As you can see, there is no room for doubt. The key point of your testimony seems to be nothing other than the point of the knife which you saw being stabbed into Detective Goodman. So how does it feel to be so utterly crushed? I'm still thinking about that. It's merely a flesh wound, Mr. Wright. Very well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. She's gonna be annoying as hell. How did you know? I respect the prosecutor's basic appearance of crime. Yet their methods are ugly and twisted. Twisted methods will always lead to tragedy. The lunch lady's uninformed opinion is duly noted. Given that they are used to erasing inconvenience evidence at their whim. Killing off a detective that knew too much is merely an extension of that. Miss Starr, do you have something personal against prosecutors? I felt that I had found my dream job when I became an investigator. And if I hadn't been laid off by those prosecutors over there, I'd still be one. Laid off. She was fired. To me, prosecutors are nothing more than worms. That said, I am a pro, as you know. My testimony is unbiased and flawless. Very well, you may continue, Miss Starr. This boyfriend, he's the detective. Not that boyfriend, the security guard. That boyfriend, you have several. Yes, this boyfriend, that boyfriend, and the other boyfriend. Care to join? The yet another boyfriend position is still open for applicants. I'll stick with the lunches, thanks. Note to self, the judge had to think before replying. The security guard room is in the back of the security guard room in the lot is in A block. It's up on the second level so you can see everything from there. That would be the room with the security sign. Incidentally, did you bring your lunchboxes by car? Since I'm a visitor now, I parked in B block. So she was in B block when she witnessed the crime. You sensed something, so you're saying you had a premonition of the murder. It felt like, how would you say? Oh yes, it was like the feeling you get when you view a pumpkin chock full of seeds. I have no idea what that means. Speaking of a detective's intuition, wasn't the victim Mr. Bruce Goodman also a detective? Yes, well, he was like a young cheese. A young cheese. A pale white cheese, not yet tainted with experience on the streets. A greenhorn. Then I must be hard yellowed and sharp as a tack. Yeah, with the odor of an old cheese to match. In any case, there in the lot I felt something stirring in the back of my mind. By garage car, you mean Mr. Edgeworth's car, yes. Mr. Edgeworth's? Incidentally, the knife with which the victim was stabbed was also Mr. Edgeworth's, wasn't it? Indeed it was. What an odd case this is. And the person you saw, you are sure it was the defendant? I saw her from no further than 30 feet away. I am certain it was her. She's telling the truth, we're doomed. Let's just do what we can. Even if we don't have any proof, we can always nitpick. Witness. In your testimony, you clearly stated the following. Prosecutors are nothing but worms. Ergo, you are a biased witness. You might want to keep those silly opinions to yourself in the future, rookie. Rookie. Unless you're willing to risk the consequences of doubting me. I'll fry you like a fritter. Crispy on the outside, chewy on the inside. I'll fucking have you hung, bitch! That was inspiring. Believe I heard that tagline elsewhere. You could cry plagiarism. I may be relegated to the lowly post of lunch lady, but my instincts are honed. All right, pack it up. Pack it up. Pack it up, guys. Pack it up. We lost. How? How the fuck do I defend this? The moment I witnessed the crime, my reflexes took over and snap, I took a picture. In fact, one of my lunch boxes is rigged with the camera. Suppose it's more exciting than just hanging it around your neck. Witness, why am I only seeing this photograph just now? You think I'd show it to you, a prosecutor? Think again. My boyfriend works in the photography division in the criminal affairs. Well, this is most certainly the defendant. Uh-oh. That is unmistakably Lana Sky. So, what was the defendant doing at the time? Tell me more about the knife the suspect was carrying. Well, I'd say the blade was about 4 inches long. Is that right, Mr. Edgeworth? It's your knife, after all. Yes, that's about right. Prosecutors are, by nature, well versed in the location of a man's vital organs. I'm sure it was easier than boiling an egg for my egg salad surprise set. You can't testify as to her ability to kill an egg. I mean a person. Perhaps a chicken salad set would have been a better metaphor? So the defendant was holding a knife. What then? Tell me the court why you didn't try to stop this crime. You did see her raise the knife to strike, no? The defense has a point. Unfortunately, by the time I realized what was going on, it was already too late. Too late. Yes. The next moment, the chief prosecutor brought down the murder weapon. I see. It's only a flesh wound, Mr. Wright. We can make it. Said that before. Anything else? Scientifically speaking, Miss Starr's testimony is flawless. Sounds pretty fucking fatal to me. What do we do? Is this it? Is my sister guilty? Let's just keep our heads cool and press the witness a bit, shall we? For some reason, having her panicking next to me makes me calmer. Don't smile like that. Let's see the evidence we have. First, let's check this photo. Okay, first of all, I'm like, there's not much I can say about this, but if you look at the photo, where's the body at? When we looked at that chalk outline for the body, wasn't bro hanging down? Like he was hanging out the back? You should at least be able to see like a piece of his body hanging down on the ground from this angle. So that's kind of weird, but I doubt they're gonna let me use that. Okay, the floor plans. She's not holding a knife in the picture. I mean, she could have just put it down though. Should I try it? Should I give it a shot? Guys, should I give it a shot? It worked. And you witnessed this. You saw Miss Sky stab the victim with the knife. As I said, yes. As I've already said, yes. I swear it on my finest salmon swirl lunch. I'm sure that is a fine lunch. But isn't that odd? Look at this photograph. Isn't this the photograph you took at the very moment of the crime? Then why is Miss Sky not holding a knife? Ahem. Mr. Edgeworth, your thoughts? Objection. That had to be the weakest objection ever, Edgeworth. Yet it was still stronger than your ever feeble mind, Mr. Wright. What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? This photograph was not taken the moment before the stabbing. It was taken the moment after the stabbing. Yeah, obviously. And how can you tell that? Blood splatter, yes, and the fact that she's closing the fucking trunk. Phoenix Wright, are you stupid? See the dark crimson stains on the chief prosecutor's coat? But it's a black and white photograph. Yes, it's hard to tell, but this could be blood. Well, Mr. Wright, I see no problem here. No problem, except you. Mr. Wright, are you gonna sit there and take that kind of abuse? Got a better idea? Well, I'm not one known to take it like a good boy, so... Objection? Wait, that contradicts what the witness said in her testimony. Namely, that she took the picture the moment she witnessed the crime. Well, it seems I was slightly unclear. My apologies. That's it? If you run out of lunch, you order seconds. Problem solved. If you don't like it, try ordering the jumbo-sized lunch from the get-go. Good advice. I'm not sure I understood it, but good advice. I didn't have time to stop her. Prosecutor Sky was cold calculating like a robot. She killed without pain or remorse. It was a premeditated murder. Premeditated? How do you know? Look at the chief prosecutor's hands in that photograph. Well, are those gloves? Surgical gloves made of thin rubber, most likely. Why would she have those on? If it was not premeditated, she would not be wearing those gloves. These gloves do seem to tell a tale of premeditation. Premeditated murder, a serious offense. Witness, add this to your testimony. What if she was just in the habit of wearing gloves, like driving gloves? The gloves were admitted as evidence when the defendant was arrested. They were rubber gloves of the kind used for autopsies. In other words, when the chief prosecutor came to the crime scene, she came to do murder. It's the only possible conclusion one can make. Everything was planned. It was a premeditated crime. Impressive. I'm sorry they took you off the force, Miss Starr. This is bad. She's got them thinking this was all planned. If she can prove this claim, the trial's already over. Gotta think of a way to show that this wasn't premeditated. What goes against the theory of it being premeditated? We've got the ID card. Not much we could say about this. Not much you could say about that. Not much. I mean, with this, you can say if it was premeditated, then how would she have known to use Edgeworth's card? If this was all planned and shit. She would have had to get the knife out of his trunk too. So you can say that. I might give that a shot. Okay, but I thought the cell phone was the best idea. Let me try this. I mean, that should have worked though. The murder was planned, the rubber gloves prove it. Oh, the knife works. Okay, that was another one I thought. I was thinking about the knife. Yeah. Okay. I thought technically, if I tried using like the car or the parking pass, the knife would kind of fall under that, because think about it, like, you had to get the knife out the toolbox. That toolbox is in the car. So, like, you know, thinking, like, how would it be premeditated if you didn't know when this car would be there, you know? So, therefore, you wouldn't be able to have a weapon to do it. Yeah, you feel me? That's what I was thinking. I didn't think I'd have to click the knife. At least my thinking was right. Like, I had the right idea. I was just picking the wrong evidence for it. Witness, do you know what this is? Are you trying to test me? I sell box lunches for a living, you know? It's kind of sad. That's a knife. The knife. The knife that was in Mr. Edgeworth's trunk. Indeed, it is my knife. What's with this case? The bloody murder weapon defense? Mommy? What? The defense has a request. We ask that the witness provide an accurate testimony. What's that, rookie? In your testimony, you stated that Lana Skye planned this murder, and that's why she was wearing those special gloves. Seems like a natural conclusion to me. The gloves do indicate planning. However, why would she not also prepare the most important thing, the murder weapon? Exactly, dumb bitch! The knife just happened to be in the trunk of the car. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are going to plan a murder, you don't forget the weapon! Order, order, order! Great, now the tide is turning in our favor. Great show, Mr. Wright. My sister's as good as free. I don't know about all that. Right. I believe the next lunch you'll be eating is humble pie. That wasn't funny. What? I hope you weren't deluding yourself into thinking that the tide has turned. Not over such a trifling detail. But this shoots a hole in a whole premeditated theory. Bah. The prosecution could care less if it was a premeditated or not. The only one who seems to care is that lunch lady over there. The defendant, Lana Skye, murdered a detective with a knife. That is the only thing the prosecution needs to prove, nothing else. Very good, Mr. Prosecutor. I suppose you think you're clever now? But you know as well as I do that she planned on killing him. It was planned. If it wasn't, I believe I'd like to hear your testimony again. Witness, please tell us only what you saw, not what you thought. How dare you? My powers of deduction are not to be underestimated. Really, no. Lana Skye intended to murder Detective Goodman. That's why she called the victim all the way to the prosecutor's office. I'm sure the chief prosecutor had a grudge against the victim. Nothing else could drive that human machine to plunge the knife in it again and again. That's already wrong. The victim was summoned from the police department to the prosecutor's office. It does sound a lot like premeditation, doesn't it? Order pizza, does that mean I'm planning on killing the delivery boy? Yeah, I've already found a contradiction. I found two contradictions. What kind of grudge? Well, I wouldn't know that. Of course you don't, that's because you didn't have a grudge. Rookie. I have a lunchbox here. Now what's inside? How am I supposed to know? See? We agreed there is a lunchbox here, but we don't know what's inside. A person's life is like a lunchbox with pretzels, don't you agree? I get it. That's why my lunch was so salty. He's not good with metaphors. The suspect had a grudge against Detective Goodman. Will you tell us your basis for thinking this? It's simple. Well, we don't have any evidence of it, but we were literally told that they barely ever had any communication, so there shouldn't be a grudge. But regardless of that, like, let's just throw the autopsy at her. You say she stabbed him again and again, but you couldn't have witnessed that. Are you testing me? Then I'll test you. With my moss surprise. I'm afraid the moss is growing under our feet as we wait, Miss Starr. What do you mean? I shouldn't have to explain this, but take a look. The autopsy report states that that death was due to loss of blood from one stab wound. Aha, you're right. Good show, Mr. Edgeworth. What a hunk, he's my hero, really. What about my objection? No one noticed? Well, witness? You got the crime scene set, right? Oh, thanks. I always believed that no one could ever mistake ketchup for blood. But now I realize that such mistakes are possible. So you're saying you mistook something for blood? When she lifted her knife, I thought I saw blood at her breast. Splattered blood from her victim. That's why I thought she must have stabbed him at least twice. Stop fucking thinking and tell us what you saw! Then tell us what you saw that you thought was blood. Testify. Her red muffler looked like blood to me. That's how ghastly the whole scene was. Red muffler? The fuck is a muffler? Can I take a look at the people involved in the case so I can get a better look at her? Maybe I'll be able to see what a fuck a muffler is? Okay, I see. It's like a scarf. But that's a contradiction because she's not wearing a fucking scarf. Miss Starr, I demand an explanation. The witness is clearly not suited for detective work. What? The suspect was not wearing a scarf or muffler of any kind when she stabbed the victim. And you've proved it yourself with this photograph. Huh? But that can't be. Only a professional lunch lady would be so utterly clueless. Congratulations, perhaps you finally found your true calling in life. Harsh words, but good. In the end, Mr. Edgeworth prevails. What was my objection? Chopped liver? But it was there, a scarf. No, not that, but something red, really. Well, now, where were we? The witness has given us an entertaining interlude, but back to business. What? Very well, witness, continue your testimony. You saw the crime and apprehended the suspect. Tell us about that. Very well. I do remember some things accurately, at least. Ultimately, we couldn't shake the most important part of her testimony. The most important part? The part where your sister stabs the victim. This next testimony might just be the moment of truth. After the murder, the suspect attempted to run behind the partition off to her side. I quickly caught her, explained her rights to her, and arrested her on the spot. Ah yes, when I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's what had me confused about my earlier testimony. The chief prosecutor made to escape, but against Angel Starr, resistance is futile. You are quite determined about this scarf, aren't you? I strike like a snake and bite like a cobra. That's me, Angel Starr. Wasn't a very good metaphor. First of all, a cobra is a kind of snake. Don't bother me with details unless you want to get bit, and I'll bite your titty, bitch! Mr. Wright is weak against poisonous snake bites. Fuck you. The chief prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hands aside, kicked over an oil drum. An oil drum, hard to imagine. Oh, she's beautiful but deadly, a predator this one, a leopard woman, rawr. Very well, Mr. Wright, your cross-examination. So where is the partition on the floor plans? I'm sure she means this wall next to the car. That's right. There was a wall there about 6 feet high. She was obviously trying to hide herself. Quite a natural thing for a criminal to do. And what did you do then? You say quickly. Were you close to the suspect? As I just said, I was only 30 feet away from her the whole time. Maybe I should press her for more details. I'd like to see this on the floor plans just to be safe. The lunch lane car was... She was a visitor, thus she was parked in B block. So you witnessed the murder from here. That would make it about 30 feet from the car, yes. Is that correct, Miss Starr? Yes, that's right. But there was a chain-link fence in front of you. I went over it, of course. Amazing, the cough-up queen, lunch lady athlete indeed. It would have taken her a little time to climb over the fence, so she couldn't have gotten to my sister that fast. Yeah, that fence was about 9 feet high too. How did Miss Sky not get away? Oh yes, when I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. She mentioned the muffler. What exactly did she say? If I remember exactly, I would have told you in my testimony. Cheeky. Anyway, all I heard was her say the word muffler. Just that one word. So, what you heard wasn't the suspect talking to you, but to someone else. Yes, the chief prosecutor was talking on her phone. Her phone. By phone, do you mean this cell phone discovered at the scene of the crime? Yes, ultimately. Ultimately. My memory is like a salmon heading upstream, you see. No, the courtroom doesn't see Miss Starr. The chief prosecutor first attempted to use the phone hanging on the wall. On the wall? That's right. Near the car, there was an emergency phone on the wall. Apparently, it was out of order, and so she used her cell phone. Indeed, the emergency phone was out of order that day. Good witnessing, witness. Good witnessing. You should, of course, add this to your testimony. The things I do to please his rookie defense attorney. Do you think you could restate your testimony for the court? Aha, I was going to ask the same thing. I'll only say this one time, so listen close, rookies. The chief prosecutor stabbed the victim and ran behind the partition. Then she picked up the emergency phone on the wall, but it was out of order. So she pulled her own cell phone out of her pocket. And during the time you climbed over the chain link fence. That's when I boldly grabbed her arm. The chief prosecutor hung up her phone. And you saw her doing this. What is it, Mr. Wright? That's false. That's false. Because if you look at where the phone was found by the car. I mean, the phone does contradict that evidence. I don't know, like... I mean, of course I know how, but I don't... Like, is it the phone that I have to click? Do I have to click something else? Oh, the floor plans. Okay, that works. Miss Starr, I have to conclude that you have a personal grudge against Miss Lana Sky. The witness is a former detective. Her testimony is unmarred by personal bias. Well, who would have thought that my knight in shining armor? Who would have thought you would be my knight in shining armor, prosecutor? You, who together with the chief prosecutor kicked me out 2 years ago. Well, Miss Starr, that is a fatal contradiction with your testimony. How do you explain this? I don't know what you're talking about. Mess with me and I'll make you cough it all up. Ahem, let's look at the floor plans. You said you witnessed a crime from this point. However, if that's true, you couldn't possibly have seen Miss Sky making that phone call. Oh, that's a different reasoning. I believe you see what I'm getting at. The emergency phone was on the back side of this partition. If indeed you were in B block, you couldn't have seen it. So dramatic. Order, order, what is the meaning of this? It's simple, Your Honor. She's not coughing up lunch, she's coughing up lies! That's quite the claim, Mr. Wright. Perhaps you will allow me a question. Tell us exactly what lie this witness has told the court. Here's where the counterattack begins. I can't afford to get this wrong. The witness lied about possibly the order of events. Or maybe even where she saw it. It could be either one of these that I'm thinking of. Okay, so let me think. We know she dropped her phone by where the person was murdered. Could I say where she saw it? Miss Guy tried to use the emergency phone, but it was out of order. What is significant about this fact? Nothing. Therefore, it will be pointless for Miss Starr to lie about it. Pointless to lie, see. But say the witness did actually see Miss Guy using the emergency phone. Would it mean Miss Starr witnessed the crime from a different location? A different location. Now that's a pointless lie if I ever heard one. Before you call my lie pointless, at least let me tell it. Let me ask a question to our clever wordsmith, Mr. Wright. Just where was the witness when she saw the crime? All the testimonies we've heard until now points to one direction. Shit, I don't fucking know. Slide in, when you let. She could have been in a security room, right? This is the only place where she could have been. The security guard room. Indeed, the security room is in an underground parking lot that's well positioned. It's built on the second floor so you can see the entire lot. She would have been able to see the emergency phone from there. But why there? There are many other places where she could have seen the phone. Not in this case, Your Honor. The witness not being part of the prosecutor's office couldn't park in A block. The only place where she could have seen the crime and the back of the partition is here. I remember in your testimony you said, you brought a lunch to your boyfriend in the security guard room, yes? Well, Miss Starr? How many years have I been getting the better of men? To think the tables could be turned. Today a man has got the better of Angel Starr. You was just in here lying and shit. Order, witness! What have you done? You used to be a detective, you should know better. I'm not turning back. The guilty will be punished. And I'll do what I must to make sure the justice prevails. The guilty? She talking about Miss Sky. Mr. Wright, doesn't it strike you as odd? Why did Miss Starr lie? It doesn't make sense. She could have just said she saw the crime from the security guard station. It wouldn't change anything. Exactly. This photograph tells all. It was the defendant who stabbed the victim. That truth still stands. It still stands. I disagree, Mr. Edgeworth. What? If a witness is found to be lying, they're guilty of perjury. She knows this. She wouldn't risk that without a good reason. So tell us what the reason was, Mr. Wright. Huh? Me? Who else? Mr. Wright, let's review what we know. Miss Starr witnessed a crime from the security guard station, but she lied and said she saw it from B block, basically making it to where there was no way for her to effectively go to A block. This must make a vital distance to the crime, I would say. It changes the distance between her and the scene of the crime. No? The floor plans in is quite clear. 30 feet. Yeah, still 30 feet, but like... Hold on. What's going on? I accidentally skipped. What she saw is not in question here. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Hold on, let me go back. I accidentally skipped it. I accidentally skipped some stuff. So let me go back. Distance to the crime. I'm gonna save one more time. Cause the second option and the first one can be true. Angle of view to the crime. This could also be true because if you look at it from there, she wouldn't be able to see the crime happen in the first place. But at the same time, distance to the crime is also correct. So I chose this first, so I'm gonna go on and choose it again. It changes the distance between her and the crime scene. My condolences, Mr. Wright, but one look at the floor plans and it's quite clear. The distance between the scene of the crime and the guard station is 30 feet. I don't see how that would change what she could see. What she saw is not in question here. What matters is the time it would take for her to reach the scene of the crime. Miss Starr, you witnessed the crime from the security guard station. Now, how long did it take you to go from there to the scene of the crime where you arrested Miss Sky? Well, witness, you. Yes. You ordered the squid wheels, right? From low to inedible. I was bringing a PB&J with fresh boysenberry jam to my boyfriend. Boysenberry jam for the boyfriend. He wasn't in the station, so I waited. I witnessed this crime from the glass-walled station. And before I knew what I was doing, I found myself running towards the scene. But the door was locked and I couldn't open it. You would not have made it in time. You would not have made it in time. That's why I had to go through the visitors parking in B block. That's quite the detour. It probably took me at least 5 minutes to get to the scene of the crime. 5 minutes. That changes things considerably. But it was that woman over there in the defendant's chair who stabbed him. I know it. I have photographic evidence. I swear it. I swear on my finest plastic spork. You have a point, and the spork is a wonderful invention. Would you like another caviar lunch? Absolutely! You have to do something. Evidence that proves that she wouldn't be able to do that. Let's see. What proves that she wouldn't have made it in time? I'm thinking either the parking stub or the cell phone. That's all I can think of, honestly. Let's try. Let's save. Give it a shot. 5 minutes between witnessing the murder and the arrest. Think about it. You could make pasta in that amount of time if you like it all, Dante. I've got lunchboxes that tie pasta into knots, rookie. 5 minute blank. Isn't that strange? Strange. If you were a criminal, what would you do with 5 minutes, Your Honor? Well, I guess I'd flee the scene. Hey! Don't get the wrong idea, I never kill anyone! But you have the instincts of a killer. You would run. But this time was different. Miss Sky dawdled at the scene of the crime. She even had her picture taken. No true criminal would act this way. It's inconceivable. So dramatic. Well then, it seems we've come to the end of this testimony. The witness has a grudge against the defendant and a blank in her testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, is the next witness ready to go? Unfortunately, I appear to have overestimated this witness on account of her professional history. We did! We screwed that can shut, Mr. Wright! That was too close. I'm afraid that the cough-up queen has been dethroned. And with that, court is adjourned. Mr. Edgeworth, you ordered squid wheels, right? That's the one she tried to foist off on me! I prefer not to take the defense team's leftovers. Anything else to say? I might be able to save you. I have decisive evidence. What was that? This is another one of her trick lunchboxes? I apologize, we have no further questions to ask of you, Miss Starr. Is this your jumbo lunchbox? Whoa, a triple-decker! Out of deference for the witness's determination, I'll allow one more testimony. Let's hear about the decisive evidence. Like the Lunchland motto says, you won't be disappointed. We've been disappointed this whole time. I should have mentioned that those 5 minutes were when I wasn't looking at the crime scene. And now, to the matter of the victim's shoe, did I not bring this up? 2 types of blood were found on the shoe. One was of course the victim's, and the other blood type matched that of the defendant, Miss Lana Sky. This show proves it. It's flawless, decisive evidence. What? There was blood found on that shoe. Try Lunchland for all your lunch and decisive evidence needs. Why would she be bleeding? Witness, what is the meaning of this? Why is this the first time I've heard of this evidence? Simple. As I've already said, I don't trust you with evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. That's why I took the liberty of investigating this myself. And you had blood tests performed. Didn't I mention? I have 3 boyfriends in forensics. In any case, Your Honor, I can't accept this as evidence. What? You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. In other words, that shoe is illegal evidence, at least for the time being. Is that right, Mr. Wright? It seems so. Edgeworth sure is celebrating. Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. Don't forget I used to be a detective. As I mentioned previously, this shoe was already tested by a member of the forensics department. And as you can see, it was approved by the police department as of today. Even the general public can produce official evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. Is that right, Mr. Wright? Seems so. Edgeworth is looking pretty sullen. You can at least study some evidence law, really. The prosecution's complaints notwithstanding, it appears this evidence satisfies the first rule of the evidence law. However, it seems you have yet another count against you, witness. Anything to assure the guilty are properly judged. Very well, Mr. Wright. You may cross-examine the witness. Fucking hell. Why did you lie about those 5 minutes? I guess you could say I wanted people to look at the results. The results. How many times do I have to say this? I saw the chief prosecutor stab the victim before my very own eyes. Compared to that, a 5-minute blank means nothing. Then why didn't you just tell the truth? Don't make me laugh. We're dealing with the most untrustworthy of the vile lot known of prosecutors. Falsified evidence, arranged testimonies, erasing and manipulating evidence. When you fight monsters, you need to use every trick in the book. This is when the suspect is admitting she did it. But a false testimony is the most despicable crime of all, Miss Starr. Let's just get this over with. And you found the shoe at the scene of the crime. I detained the chief prosecutor and notified the police department. I wanted to make myself useful while I was waiting for the police to arrive. So like an ill-trained pooch, you snuck off with a shoe. I was afraid someone would erase the chief prosecutor's crime. This shoe is my secret weapon if that should happen. See this fashionable basket I have here? It carries more than lunchboxes, gentlemen. I'm happy for you and your lunchbox bag, really. In any case, you removed valuable evidence from the scene of the crime. Now tell us what you did next. So you brought it to a forensics department. You're gonna submit something as evidence in court, you need to approve it. To do that, evidence must be analyzed by a forensics expert. She's got away with a little coup because she used to be a detective. The shoe does appear to have bloodstains on it. Well, the man was stabbed after all. And that blood belonged to the victim, Detective Goodman. As I said, there were 2 types of blood found on the shoe. You can't say for sure the blood belonged to the defendant with the blood test. You claim to know something about blood tests, rookie. Well, speak up! Well, blood comes in 4 types. A, B, O, and AB. However, you can't tell from a blood test whether a murder was committed in cold blood. That's just a figure of speech, Mr. Wright. Actually, we can differentiate between millions of types of all the blood tests out there. Which means, okay. Or so I hear. It's pretty specific. If I had a little more time, I would have gotten DNA test results. But they say there's very little doubt that it could be anyone but Miss Lana Skies. So the suspect's blood was found on the victim's shoe. That ties her directly to the death of Detective Goodman. Can't let this evidence go through without a fight. You ordered peppered fish guts, right? Some like it hot, some like it hot, Mr. Wright. Some like your client. She's in enough hot water to make a whole vat of soup. Mr. Wright, do you or do you not have a problem with this shoe? A problem? It's critical. Is there a problem with the shoe? Let's look at it. This blood is my sister's. Appears so. Right hand was bandaged when I saw her in jail. Must have cut herself at the scene of the crime. There's blood here too. Sole of the shoe's gotta be the victim's. Must have stepped in a puddle of his own blood. All this blood is horrible. Blood might be an important clue. I don't really see how. There's a problem, I guess? Let me save. If I'm not imagining things, I'd say there's one critical problem with this evidence, one clear contradiction. That gleam in your eyes, you're still young, rookie. I'd give you a peppered fish gut. I'd give you a peppered fish gut now, but you couldn't take the heat, could you? Let's hear what Mr. Wright has to say. What is contradictory about the victim's shoe? Show us the problem with this evidence. Oh! The victim's lower half, including his feet and shoes, was in the trunk. His upper half was in was on the ground. So how would he have stepped in the blood if he was upside down? That's what I'm thinking. I wonder if you noticed, there's blood on the bottom of this shoe. He got red bottoms. Don't mess with me, rookie, or it'll be your blood on the bottom of my shoe. Indeed, there is quite a bit of blood on the bottom of the shoe. It makes sense the victim was stabbed with a knife. What could possibly be contradictory about the blood on the bottom of his shoe? Oh, there's no blood on the floor! The problem lies in the footprint. The footprint? Note that the bottom of the victim's shoe is covered in blood. Then, isn't it strange? Why weren't there any bloody footprints found by the scene of the crime? As you can see, there are no traces of any such footprints at the scene of the crime. That contradicts your claim about this shoe. This picture only shows part of the floor, so there could have been bloody footprints. Then where are they, Mr. Edwards? Because we checked the scene and found nothing of the sort. Order! Well, witness. What, huh? Great going, Mr. Wright. But it's true that the lack of footprint is a contradiction. But then we have to ask why there wasn't a footprint. Oh. That's true. There has to be a reason why there wasn't a footprint. Think, Mr. Wright, think. Hey, I don't know why it's not there. I'm just good at finding contradictions. What? I see. Now I get it. Get what? Our witness is more devious than I gave her credit for. We were hoodwinked to the very end. But she slipped. There's one vital hint to the truth in her testimony. What are you talking about? Think back to when she told us about apprehending the suspect. The chief prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hands aside, kicked over an oil drum. Oh, she's beautiful but deadly. A predator, that one, a leopard woman. I thought that was a strange thing for a normally cool-headed chief to do. No kidding. Now witness, allow me to ask you a very simple question. This oil drum, was it empty? Oh, that, I'm not sure I like your attitude, Mr. Edgeworth. Though apparently you're not the slowest conveyor belt at the lunchbox factory. Witness, well, was the oil drum empty? The oil drum kicked over by the chief prosecutor was brimming with water. That's a fucking lie. Water? What does that mean? Still don't get it, Mr. Wright? Do you want to know the real reason she knocked it over? The real reason? You don't mean? Yes, the suspect knocked over the oil drum for one reason and one reason alone. To erase the bloodstains that would become evidence against her. That ties things up quite nicely. The bloodstain left on the victim's shoes tie her quite clearly to this murder. Then after the deed was done, she knocked over the oil drum to erase the telltale signs. Why, that's a prosecutor's specialty, erasing evidence. That reminds me, Miss Sky's right hand was hurt. Didn't she say she cut herself when she stabbed him? So that's when my sister's blood got on the shoe. Well, I see no reason to prolong this trial. Mr. Wright, do something, please! What? What can I do? You're sent to confess to the crime and she tried to conceal it! But... Enough. There is no need for further debate. The verdict, Your Honor. Very well. But Angel Starr is on the prosecution side. She could have been lying about the water. This court finds the defendant, Miss Lana Sky. Little girl, what did you just say? Huh, me? Did you say that I, Angel Starr, was on the prosecution side? Well, yeah, you are. You're saying my sister hid evidence by erasing the bloody footprints. Well, I thought you had your fill, but here you are demanding a second helping. Another lunchbox. A lunchbox called evidence. Wait, witness, don't tell me you have something else. The time for deliberations is past. Any further comments, you will be held in contempt of court. Your threats don't scare the cough-up queen. Look at this. A photograph. I had it just in case anyone had the gall to suggest that the white shoe didn't belong to the victim. She fucked up. She fucked up. Because think of it like this, right? This is my thinking. If you apprehended the suspect, where would you have time while you are holding them down to take a picture of the corpse? You could argue that the police officers allowed her to after they took her away. But at the same time, hold on, is it already in here? No, alright, let's just keep it going. That the white shoe didn't belong to the victim. I see no room for error in this evidence. Mr. Wright, wait, look at the asphalt in this photo. Hey, it's clearly wet. Erasing the last trace of doubt from the court's mind. Immediately after the murder, the crime scene was washed with water. I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. I guess I couldn't help after all. Not your fault. I knew I could have won this case from the beginning. And it seems this is what your sister wanted anyway. You guys, you're thinking of something? I'm sorry, Mia. Right, wet or not. Don't be so quick to throw in the towel. That's a bar. Get yourself up off the asphalt. Take another good look. Don't give up. Not until the bitter end. This is the last piece of evidence. Very well. This time I'd like to declare a verdict for good.
Objection!
Your Honor, wait. What is it with you people? Can't I hand down my verdicts in peace anymore? Whatever it is, can it wait? No, nigga! It'll be too late! Look at this photograph, the last one submitted. This trial isn't over until we give each piece of evidence proper consideration. So right. Are you saying that there's a problem with the latest piece of evidence? Yeah? I'll think later. Yeah, there's a problem. Right or wrong, I've got to go ahead with this. I suppose since we've come this far, we should give every claim a fair shake. Very well, Mr. Wright. First of all, what the fuck is that? This? Hold on, let me see the photograph again. I thought that was something weird about the car. I just didn't know what the hell that was. But I clicked on it. The problem in this photograph is here. What's this? There's something poking out of the car's muffler. Wait just a minute, Mr. Edgeworth. Your Honor? You just said muffler. However, I see no trace of a muffler or scarf of any kind in this photograph. A muffler is also a part of a car or motorcycle, Your Honor. Just think of it as part of the exhaust system, a pipe. I see, and I see. What's that suspicious looking cloth sticking out from the car's muffler? So what if there's something sticking out of the muffler? What does it have to do with this case? Nothing, absolutely nothing. Sorry, Miss Starr, but it's not going to be that easy. In fact, you've already told us why this is important to the case. You said as much in your testimony. What? Let's hear what Mr. Wright has on his mind. Why you think this is important to the case? She said as much in her testimony. Shit, I don't know. Would it be this? Miss Starr, recall your testimony for the court. Ah, yes. When I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's what had me confused in the earlier testimony. Muffler? Ah! Could it be that the muffler you heard mentioned was actually this exhaust pipe? If so, that means this piece of cloth is vital evidence. Oh, she had a heart attack or something. Well, it seems we'll have to suspend the proceedings. Suspend? I found myself wondering about that piece of cloth. If we leave any question unanswered, here we do a disservice to the law. Have the car at the scene of the crime inspected at once and bring me that cloth. The verdict will wait until after we've seen all the evidence. Agreed? I suppose so. That was close. We made it, at least for now. This court will adjourn for a 30-minute recess. It is lunchtime after all. He's still hungry? Shit, I'm fucking hungry. I haven't ate yet. District Court, defendant lobby number 2. Mr. Wright. What? Are trials always like this with you? Like you're swimming up from the bottom of a lake about to reach the surface? But no matter how hard you paddle, you never seem to get there? Pretty much. Except today we're swimming with quicksand. So what happened to your sister anyway? Apparently she got called off to the judge's chambers. Probably something to do with that piece of cloth. So, this is where we turn the trial around, right? Our only weapon, a tiny insignificant piece of cloth. I'm the one who's starting to feel tiny and insignificant, to tell the truth. Hola, partner. They say you showed a red cloth to the bull, it'll fire up his temper. That's what they told me when I was a youngin', at least. Officer Marshall. Thought I'd come take a look, see how the trial's going. Look like I'm late. They got the home ranch locked down tighter than the fort in enemy territory. That's hard to slip out, huh? What's going on over there anyway? All the police I've seen these past 2 days have been really on edge. Don't you got enough on your plate without worrying about other people, compadre? You could be worrying about the chief prosecutor's taste in mufflers, for example. Officer Marshall, the whole muffler thing didn't have anything to do with scarves. She wasn't even wearing a scarf. You don't say. No, don't that just beat all. I've seen the red breeze blow at her slender neck many a time. I saw it that day too. She was wearing a red muffler. What? At the award ceremony that afternoon, that's worth seeing it too, I'd reckon. What does that mean? In the photograph taken at the scene of the crime, she wasn't wearing a scarf. So Miss Starr wasn't mistaken. Well, it's about time. Remember, partner, sometimes you gotta grab the bull by the horns. Sometimes you just gotta let the bull go where it will. Time will tell. I have a bad feeling about this. So what are we swimming in now, Mr. Wright? If it's steak soft, I could hook you up with some fine ribs. Ooh wee. We're swimming in hot shit. I'd like to resume. What's up? The judge keeps looking over at the prosecution. Is something wrong, Mr. Edgeworth? Your face is blue, your lips are purple, and you're sweating bullets. That furrowed brow, those grinding teeth, those watery eyes. What more, your eyes are unfocused, you're doubled over, your back is bent. It can't be! This can't happen! I wonder what happened to Mr. Edgeworth. Well then, I believe it is time we continued on with this trial. This is unacceptable! It seems our prosecutor is quite beside himself. Knock knock? Who's there? Who is this ugly ass? What's with this guy? A strange stuffy aura seems to be filling the courtroom. Hey, the temperature rose 5.7 degrees when that man came in. Who on earth is he? Talk! Ah, it's you! Not a thought in that nigga head. Oh! Sorry I'm late, G. The roads were packed. It's just me. Long time no see. Hey, G. How you been? Swim much these days? Hello. No, I've been so busy. Busy smizzy, G, my boy. You gotta make time to relax. Yes, indeed. G seems to be his nickname for the judge. I'm afraid you're right. Very afraid. Sorry, but who are you? So you're Righto, the attorney. I've heard good things about your son. Thanks. Sorry about our little worthy giving you all that trouble, eh? You know, we should all go swimming together sometime. Jolly. Little worthy. Mr. Wright, you don't know the district chief of police. Chief of police? He's a top-ranking police officer in the entire district. Name's Gant. Damn it, Gant. Pleased to meet you, everyone. So what do we owe this honor today? It's been over 2 years since you last came to this courtroom, hasn't it? Well, it's worthy here. Look at the poor fellow. I just thought I'd help out by bringing this. Hey, that's my sister's muffler. So Miss Starr wasn't just seeing things. When the crime occurred, Miss Sky really was wearing that muffler. But I think it was stuffed in that exhaust pipe. On Little Worthy's car, no less. It really is quite embarrassing even for us. What's this? What you call a switchblade knife? Quite perplexing, this. Chief, what kind of outfit are you running? Mr. Edgeworth, how could they miss such a vital piece of evidence? If your investigators are this lax, how do you expect us to do our job? No, wait a minute, Worthy. I've no desire to hear you. I'm telling you to wait. Or didn't you hear me? Have a look at this document where it says person in charge of investigation. There's no mistaking that signature, is there, Miles Edgeworth? That's not fair. On the day of the crime, I had your head in the clouds because you got that award. I know how you feel. But you are the person in charge. I'll expect a written apology. What? Are you serious? Don't be so upset. We'll find a way to clean up this mess that you made. This is the first time I've seen Mr. Edgeworth at a loss for words. This kind of major blunder is unlike you, Mr. Edgeworth. The court accepts this as new evidence, but I'd like to ask the defense a favor first. Yes, just to be sure. I'd like to take a look at the blade of this knife. Blade, Your Honor. Well, I don't see why not. Could you open it up for me, I wonder? Yes, well, I think all you have to do is push that switch and... If I cut my finger, Mr. Wright, I wouldn't be able to pound my gavel anymore. Yeah, but if I cut my finger, I won't be able to point at people anymore. Come on, just open it. This is gonna piss me the fuck off. That's gonna drive me crazy. That is gonna drive me crazy. Small tag. SL92. What does that mean? Heard something similar. DL6, the DL6 incident. But it's strange. What is? I'm not sure, but I got a feeling I've seen this before. Letters like this, or letters that looked a lot like this. I have an idea. Why don't scare me like that? I'm the one who's scared. Look at this knife blade, the tip is broken off. This dark red stain, blood? That does not excuse the actions of the police department. I would like to hear an explanation from the chief of police himself. I'm terribly sorry, but could I ask that you testify for us? About the split between the prosecutor and the police and this knife. Sure thing, no problem, not even a little one, really. The knife was very special, but I can't say how here. Unless there's evidence to prove the connection between the knife and Goodman. There was a bad day for the police department. We weren't in any shape to do an investigation. A detective was killed at the police department. See, what a mess. Time of the crime? 5:15. Scary coincidence, eh? It's not officially linked to the case here, so I can't talk much about it. There was a murder at the police department, a detective. The hush-hush information, Aji. We haven't exactly announced it yet. Wait a second, you said 5:15. That's the exact time that Detective Goodman was killed at the prosecutor's office. Order. Anyway, we at the department were all flustered, as you might assume. We were in the middle of a top-secret investigation. Don't tell anyone, okay? I think we understand the police department situation. Well, Mr. Wright. 2 detectives killed at the same time in 2 different places. Chances are really slim. I'd like to exercise my right for a cross-examination. Keep your questions focused on the case at hand. Okay, I wanted to see this. This says SL92. That's what that is. What does this say? Oh shit! If you flip it over, that says SL9. Knife is special here. Excuse me, special? Hard to come by the particular knife anywhere else. Might that special thing be this little tag? Oh, sorry, Rhino, but I can't say that now, not that. We've established that the knife in Goodman's chest was this knife. Now explain why there was another knife at the scene of the crime. That's quite a mystery. And like a mystery, it was wrapped in something, a muffler. There's evidence to prove the connection between this knife. I got it, right here. Wait a second! Ah, at last! An honest to goodness objection! This knife, this has something to do with that Detective Goodman. What do you mean? Ah, an honest to Goodman, what do you mean from Udgy? This is great! Look at the tag on this knife, it reads SL9 too. And this is important why? Over here we also have a memo that was on the body of the victim. What's this? 6 minus 7S, 12 2. Your Honor, it's upside down. Upside. The printed name of the memo makes it look like it's right side up. But turn it around and what do you get? Aha! Whoever wrote this note was holding the paper upside down. SL9. That's the same thing written on the knife's tag. Order, order! Well, Chief. Ah, well. I guess the cat's out the bag. You win, righto. I win? What game is this guy playing? This knife was evidence in a case. It was stolen. So this knife was stolen? Yes, but on the day of the murder. It was evidence, you say? Was it in fact a murder weapon? Nice, nice, nice. Good show, little worthy. It was a murder weapon as it happens. It was evidence from a case long since solved. So this knife was stolen on the day of the murder. And it was found in the exhaust pipe of Edgeworth's car. Hard to think there isn't a connection there. Something happened at the police department too, huh? You got a good look in your eyes there. Right on my boy. Sharp, hungry. So something did happen, and why wasn't I informed? Why weren't you informed? Well, why didn't you ask? No matter, I understand. You were busy with that Lana's case and all. Well, what happened? What happened at the police department that day? On the same day the detective was killed in the prosecutor's parking lot, another detective was killed at the police department. That's a fact. Surprising, isn't it, Udgy? I'm at a loss for words. And the perpetrator, do you have a suspect? Well, there was a suspect. Just arrested him, in fact. Just arrested. That was quick. But there's still a lot of unanswered questions. Maybe you could help, Ryder. I suppose I could help if you help me by giving me data on your case. Good one. This kid's sharp. Okay, here's the deal. I'll tell you one thing and one thing only. Where the victim was found, how the victim was killed, when the victim died. I don't know, where the victim was found? So tell me, where was the victim found? Can't speak on where the corpse was found, but I can say the crime took place in an evidence room at the police department. The evidence room. Wait a second, I've heard of that. The evidence room, didn't he mention that in his testimony just now? Knife was evidence. It was stolen from the department's evidence room. There's a connection between the two cases. You seem happy, Mr. Wright. Happy? Happy we just got handed our ticket to go to town on this case. With the link between the two cases established, we finally have some leverage. Now we can get Gant to testify about the details. Chief, the defense's position is simply this. The connection between these two cases have already been proven. You don't say. Well, out with it, Ryder. What's your connection? Yes, out with it, Mr. Wright. The connection is a place mentioned in the testimony we just heard. The knife was found in the knife found in the lot was stolen, from the police department's evidence room. Not to mention the victim had on him the case number on the knife's evidence tag. And we also know that the detective murdered at the police department was killed in the very same evidence room. Indeed, there does seem to be too many connections for it to be a coincidence. You two make a good pair. It took my man 2 days to find out what you deduced right here. Chief, I request you release your information on the victim at the police department. See, that's the tricky part. It hasn't been announced yet and all. Can we get the information unofficially? Huh? Sure, why not? It's unofficial after all. What, really? Who would have guessed? Five, 5:15, but that's when Detective Goodman was killed. What? Funny, isn't it? A murder at the prosecutor's office and a murder at our place at the very same time. What are the chances? Coincidence? This is my gut feeling, but I say, alright. Chief Gant, tell us more about the incident. One at the prosecutor's office, one at the police department. And that knife, what was it doing there? If you're gonna tell us a little, why not tell us everything? Well, case information and stick to stuff. You gotta do everything properly. Oh well, might get what I can out of him. The ID number. Okay, how about you tell me the victim's ID number? Huh? Sure. Why not? It's not like you'll be able to tell who it is from that. Of course not. You won't tell me their name after all. We keep a tight lid on ID numbers, so don't go getting your hopes up. 5842189. Well, that's quite long. We have to remember these, it drives me nuts. 82, I can't do it. You didn't even get the first number right. Well, Mr. Wright, does this tell you anything? The ID number of the victim in the police department, it tells me something. Actually, it does, Your Honor. It does. I think. Meaning. It has to be what I think it is. But what does this mean? Well, let's hear what the defense has to say. You said the ID number of the detective who was murdered in the police department tells you something. Witness. What is it, Mr. Wright? You're grinning like a schoolgirl on prom night. No, it's just, I got confused. And this is news. Huh? Just come out with both guns blazing like you always do. The police department, the prosecutor's office. 2 places, 2 detectives murdered at one time. Actually, I happen to have a police ID number here. Oh, is it yours? No, dumbass. I'm a defense attorney. This is the ID number for our victim, Detective Goodman. Shame on you, Righto. Personnel IDs are top secret. Detective Goodman's ID number is 5842189. And this means what exactly? Huh? Wait, that ID number we heard from the chief earlier. That started with 82 of significant. You didn't get the first number? The number the chief gave us was 5842189. Wait a second, Wright. What does this mean? That's what I want to know. The 2 ID numbers are identical. In other words, the detective killed in police department evidence room was Bruce Goodman. What does our witness think about that? Oh! Sharpest attack, Righto! Sharpest attack! But wait, Detective Goodman is our victim. He was killed at 5:15 in the underground parking lot. Yet a detective Bruce Goodman was also killed at the police department. And the evidence room at the exact same time. That's impossible. So what we're saying is, the same person was killed at the same time, and in a completely different location. Order, order, order! Chief, what does this mean? No. What I want to know is why didn't I hear about this? Yes, it's top secret, fine, but I'm the prosecutor in charge of the case. Now, just wait a second, Worthy, no need to get all flustered. Your Honor, the police department has made a grave error in this case. Wait. I said wait. Or didn't you hear me? The oversight, the grave error. Mr. Edgeworth, they're all yours. What? How? How dare? We informed you yesterday. I believe it was our Officer MAKIN who brought you the news. Officer MAKIN. Mr. Wright, where have we heard that name before? Wait! Excuse me, but is Mr. Edgeworth anywhere on the premises? I'm here, sir, at the request of the chief, sir. Got your report, sir. You don't mean him. According to MAKIN, you didn't accept the report. Hard to believe. But your officer, he told me the report had nothing to do with the Lana Sky incident. Detective Bruce Goodman murdered in the police department evidence room. Mr. Edgeworth, the victim's name was written right on the top of the report. Why didn't your officer tell me? Honestly, I'm not sure that officer was capable of making the connection. He did seem challenged. In any case, this is a serious error. A gross negligence of duty on your part, Worthy. But sir, you could have submitted that report this morning to the court as evidence. Then He's doing this shit on purpose. He's a dickhead. No such luck this time, Worthy. Or should I say, unworthy. What? Now, what was the second rule of evidence law, huh? Well, Mr. Wright? Huh? Oh, well, it's, Rule 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. And how is this rule relevant? Normally, you submit a list of evidence to be used in court before the trial. This report wasn't on that list. So what does this mean? I couldn't submit this evidence until the connection was proven in court. The connection was just proven by Wright over here. Good job, Wright, my boy. Huh? I'm just doing my job. No. No! It seems we have come to the end of this trial. I know you're going through a tough time, Worthy, with all the rumors. You were even in a defendant's chair just this past December. I apologize for this terrible lack due to my diligence on my part. Lack of due diligence. Mr. Edgeworth, please just give me one day. I'll get to the bottom of what happened if it's the last thing I do. You'd better give results this time, really. You have my profound apologies, sir. Poor Mr. Edgeworth. I don't think there's ever been an error this serious in the history of this court. I will grant one further day as the prosecution has requested. Would that be sufficient, Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. Whatever your punishment for this is, for your sake, I hope it's not decisive. Very well, court is adjourned. Shit. Alright, let me get my thoughts on what's going on. Alright, so I don't think that girl's a murderer anymore. It's possible, but I don't think she's a murderer. I don't know who the murderer is. But frankly, right now, I believe one of the police officers is the murderer. And then, because of such a convenient situation that they were in, what with, you know, Lana being where she was at the time, they're doing everything they can to pin this crime on Lana. Because in the first place, they already don't really like the prosecutors. They have to work with them, but, you know, all the evidence and shit And then they all have close ties, close relationships with the cuff up dick queen. And considering Lana was one of the people that got her fired, they might have some type of grudge against her about that too. But at the same time, I don't think all the police are in on it. When they said that the police kind of have not a bias on this because one of their fellow officers was killed by Lana, I believe that is true. But that's only true because the higher ups in the police department know who actually did it and they're covering shit up. Honestly, I'm willing to bet that the whole murder and the other room is false. And it's just a way of fucking shit up. But we'll find out sooner or later. That's the end of the episode, guys. If y'all enjoyed, like, subscribe, leave a comment, or read them all. Tap into the next one. Shit, we gonna have to get it. I'm gonna probably get back into this a little later. What time is it? It's 3:40. Yeah, I could probably finish day 2 soon. I'll do day 3 tomorrow. But peace out. I love y'all. Tap in.